lies. God.
I lied.
Oh my God. If you watch the first video, you have an understanding of how lying played a role in my particular relationship with my covert narcissist boyfriend at the time. Isn't lying and being truthful an important concept to most of us? Yes. The obsession that this person had, John, right, is the name we're using. The obsession that John had with loyalty and honesty and lying, it was very strange, and it was just as confusing as the rest of his projections in the relationship. The concept of trust is really warped. So within that, yeah, I found that I was constantly being accused of lying. And if you watch that first video, you'll see just how frustrating it finally got for me toward the end when I finally told him a lie. He finally had me where I wanted him, so to speak. It was like he got everything out of me that he projected and seemed to want in this weird way to prove to himself. What I really want to focus on right now is just a general idea and conversation about lying, about lies, about how we understand lies, how lies play a role in our lives and society, how we learn to become truthful people, where we feel safe telling the truth, etc., etc. Boom. So everybody lies. Really? Do I have anybody on the other side of this camera who's going to say that they've never told a lie? Or that they never lie? Think about how many people live in your town, or even just your neighborhood, and then your town, and your city, and your state, and your country, and your continent, the world. How many of those people, of the billions of people, have told a lie today? You know, you might find it shocking, or not, but research shows that the average person lies about 10 times a day. And that ranges, right, from those little white lies, so you don't hurt someone's feelings, to a blatant, I didn't do it. Why is this important? Well, it gives us a better knowing of what lying looks like. So we've got some general ideas about it. Then let's take this concept a little bit further and let's introduce, a child to the situation here. And when we're children, let's think about when we learn not to lie, or that lying's not okay and that we should tell the truth. Anywhere, between ages 2 and 9, we're going through different stages of learning about lies, lying, truth-telling, these concepts, and we're practicing them a little bit. We're testing those boundaries a little bit to get a better feel for and a knowing for, what lying looks like, and if it's okay or not, if it's accepted or not, if it benefits us or not, etc. So as a child, there's a degree of lying and practicing lying and experimenting with lying and all of that. That's normal part of development, right? Let's take that concept and on a whole and make more specific scenarios for that, for this particular child and that particular child based on family dynamics, so how you grew up, the household you grew up in, your parents, all of that stuff, your neighborhood, etc., who you interacted with, the friends and kids in the neighborhood, that kind of thing, because that's kind of like your world in those young years. It doesn't really go beyond that too much. So within that little dynamic of your own personal makeup, how your parents approach you in your day-to-day life and support you and guide you, or lack thereof, etc., is going to shape in a big way how comfortable or not you are, or how safe you feel your environment is to be yourself, to be the fullest expression of yourself. And that will influence as well whether or not you feel safe telling a truth or a lie. Because once a child doesn't feel safe being him or herself, expressing that part of him or herself, expressing that truth, if they don't feel it's a safe environment to express that truth, then the child will quickly learn that it's not okay to be the self. So we have to lie in order to protect the self. So the lie will then become the chosen way of getting through that interaction, but not because you want to lie, you're choosing to lie, you just want to be a big old liar, but more out of protection of the self and survival than anything else. So in that scenario, like, that can range anywhere from a parent, like a really sensitive child, and a parent that's maybe, just not abusive in any way, but just a little bit harsh or cold or, non-emotional with their approach to the child. So it's possible that sensitive child could quickly learn that it doesn't feel comfortable, it doesn't feel safe to be themselves and to tell the truth in that environment. And so little lies may start coming out here and there. And over time, like, if that becomes a more sort of default reaction, again, it's not necessarily that there's like mal intent in the lying, but rather it becomes more of a habit and a mechanism of protection of the self that feels very raw and vulnerable and not accepted in survival. Then let's take that and stretch it even further to an abusive style situation. So let's say in your family dynamic, there is some abuse on some level from one or both of the parents, whether emotional, psychological, physical, mixture of. We can see how that situation is going to be even more conducive to, creating a dynamic where that child's learning the concept of lying, and they're going to learn very quickly that, it's really not okay, it's really not safe to be myself. More abuse comes at me, I get hurt when I'm in that situation, when I become vulnerable and share that part of myself, that truth, that honesty, etc. So they know, it's not going to be accepted, it's not going to be understood, even if they did something wrong and they're admitting to it, and they're telling the truth, it's still not going to be accepted, and there's going to be some level of abuse dished out to them, right? So that's more damaging to the self. So you have to then protect that part of the self, and again, it can become extremely common as a coping mechanism then to lie about things that one normally wouldn't have to lie about or feel compelled to lie about. But again, it's like out of sheer protection and survival for the self, you end up having to do so. Because think about this too, when you're constantly being flung into those situations, those triggers of abuse that happen, you can feel that other person getting ramped up emotionally, and you can feel that, we're about to move into a situation where I get abused in some way. Your coping mechanisms that have developed at that point are going to interject to stop that potential abuse as much as you can. And unfortunately, if you don't feel safe telling a truth, even a simple truth that shouldn't matter to another person, then, you're going to end up telling little white lies, and maybe even once in a while a bigger lie, because the alternative is worse. And I know I said in that first video too, like I did not like the version of myself that I was becoming at all. If you have to operate from that kind of space, you're not free to be yourself. You're not safe being yourself. Like, what does this person expect, hands down? It's just straight up abuse. Just bad. So I really wanted to talk about lying. I want to talk about lying and truth and how it can be so confusing and disheartening to be in a relationship with an abuser who has such a fixation and emphasis on the concept of truth and loyalty and how important they say truth and loyalty is to them. And these, you know, they'll even go so far, you may have heard this before if you've been in this situation, as to say something like, you know, I'm one of the most honest people I know. Truth matters to me so much that if you just told me the truth, it wouldn't matter to me as much, you know, because I would know the truth. Oh my God. How many times have I heard something like that? And I mean, I gave this person way more information than they ever deserved about my personal life, even when we were in the relationship and when we weren't. I was constantly taking that initiative and that extra step to divulge the things, these extra things that I never even thought about that this person seemed to want to have informationally. And the deeper I dove and the more I gave them, the more truth I showed them, the less they accepted any of it. It made no difference. It only seemed to make him angrier. So anyway, this is one of my best days so far, and just keep on focusing on you. Keep on focusing on that self-care. Building up your vital life force energy again. And know that you're not alone. Not in any way, shape, or form. And I'm here for you. I'm not doing this just because I want to keep reliving it. This is a processing, you know? The nervous system will contract with a trauma. And in order to feel safe in the world again, in your body again, etc., etc., your nervous system, it needs to relearn that. And the more it can feel safe in your body, in your home, in the world, the more flexibility and expansiveness your nervous system has again. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. Next video, I will be taking us back to the first incident. Yep, it's that time. I've got some more poetry for us. It was fake, by the way. It was like just us doing this screaming. And this pimple here.